Slay.
Salama family, Salama. How y'all doing today? Today we have Chavon, Tim, and T3. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing today?
We doing good.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, man. So can y'all tell us first of all, where y'all from?
Go first.
Well, I'm originally from Queens, New York, but I moved to Nashville about 10 years ago, and that's where I met my husband, Tim. So I guess you could say I'm from Nashville/New York.
Yeah. And I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I moved to Nashville in 2015, finding myself in the Lord, and I ended up running into my wife. So I guess you could say I'm from Nashville too, I guess.
Oh, okay. So y'all in Sister E territory. That's where she from. So what made
sounds very
yeah. What made y'all move to the continent?
Man, it's a lot of reasons. Man. Well, first thing is we had always, thought that we would move to Africa eventually, but things just kind of got fast tracked in light of everything that's going on in the country. And then I had a dream actually, like right before we moved. And in my dream, I just heard the voice of the Lord say, "Pave the way." And I knew I was in Africa. Somehow I knew I was in Africa in the dream. So that was kind of like what kickstarted our move. But we had always thought about, eventually going back to Africa and just everything that's going on in the country. And then we know that the second Exodus is underway or about to be underway.
It was, you could just feel it too. It's time. Like when my wife told me that she had the dream, we immediately the scripture came to mind where the young generation will see visions and have dreams, and that's kind of was like, I saw it as prophetic in this way. Like, man, my wife having a dream about this, I don't think it's a joke. And then the state of the country, the way everyone's acting towards us, and the way things are going, it's like, why not? Why not listen to what the dream said and go out on faith and see what it's really about? Because we really ain't going up being stressed out in that environment anyway. So why not take a chance and step out on faith?
And working so hard, and it's like you can barely get ahead. Like, we own our own business, and we work hard, and it's like, it's still hard to even just survive, daily life, day to day. So it was a lot of reasons that went into it, but that was like the gist of it.
So since you all moved, right now, let's get this out of the way first. You all identify as Israelites, correct?
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
So what would you all say to those who said you all are moving before God, you left before the Exodus, and you're getting ahead of God? What would you say to them?
I saw a meme earlier. My wife actually shared it. It said, everyone laughed at Noah till it started raining. So Most High puts things into certain people, into certain individuals. Everyone not supposed to get it. And it's like, we're to the point now where really, it doesn't even matter for the people that doesn't understand. It's not for them to understand, I guess, at the moment, because like she said in the dream, some people are supposed to pave the way. We can't just jump out and leave and go to nowhere sometimes. That sounds ideal, sounds like a great idea, but somebody has to put boots on the ground first. Like, if it's not you, you don't have to down the person that has that drive in them. I don't think that's not what it should be about. Everyone should hold everyone to that standard and push them there wherever they're at on that level. Yeah, that's what I think.
And so, I think a lot of people are. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I think a lot of people are looking for the Exodus to be a certain way. Like, I know a lot of people are looking at it from a spiritual perspective and not also a physical perspective. But we know that everything that happens in the spiritual realm also happens in the natural realm as well. So I think people are looking for it to be like the first Exodus where Moses came and parted the Red Sea. And I'm not saying that it may not be like that, but I think the Most High is doing a different work this time. I think he's having people Exodus individually. And then there may be a mass Exodus as well. But I've spoken to a lot of people who are like, they've had like similar dreams or visions or just feel the need that it's time to leave.
So, I feel the same way. Like, for instance, I would see, this move, right? And even from those who aren't believers, and I would watch them. And when you listen to them, many of them, their goal was to go there to the continent to set up a place to help us return, to make it easier for us to relocate to the continent. And these people aren't even believers, but yet they have the desire in their heart to go back to the continent and to make it easier for us to return. I'm watching this stuff, right? And I know the scriptures, and I'm like, okay, this looks like God to me, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
I've never seen a time before where people just up and leave. Like, I remember Africa, like when I was growing up, Africa was something that people looked down upon. Like, people will call you like an African booty scratcher, or like if you were like an African immigrant who came over here, people would make fun of you. Yeah. It's not like that anymore. People are like actually looking up, realizing like, man, we need to go back over there. Those are our brothers and sisters. And I don't think that just happened by chance. I think that's from the Most High.
Definitely.
And the other thing, to me, when I look at things, we have to understand that God deals with nations, but he also deals with individuals. And just like God told Abraham to leave, he's telling some of us to leave. I am of the opinion, and this is my opinion, people don't have to agree with it. I believe that the Exodus is happening already. That's what I believe. I believe that you all and others who aren't even believers are leaving because of that desire that's in their heart. God is driving them to the continent by his spirit, and they are leaving, right? I believe it's the beginning of it. It's not the mass exodus, but I believe this is the exodus because, like you said, Chavon, and I'm older than you all, I've never seen anybody want to go to the continent. You know what I'm saying? And now we got people leaving in mass, almost. I mean, it's like every time I turn on YouTube, right? Another family left. Another month leave, another family left. Another month leave, another family. I'm like, everybody's leaving.
We met people from who left Philadelphia. We met a couple of families from Philadelphia. Like, there's people here already who aren't even like YouTubing, who are just here, and they follow the Most High too.
See, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I really wanted to get Israelites on here, because I don't think people understand how many of our people, believers, are there, right? And so people want to say, well, it has to be like the first Exodus. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be like the first Exodus, right? Because God does what he will. Now, we know from the scriptures there's going to be a mass Exodus. But guess what? The first Exodus, according to my understanding, is going to be from Babylon, which is America. And that's where the majority of people are leaving. They're also leaving from the UK. Right. Yep. And so, we see it every time a month goes by, it's increasing. I mean, literally, I'm watching this and I'm just checking off the list. I'm like, man, another left, another. I'm like, I'm stuck here by myself now,
Come on, man.
Yeah. Look, if it wasn't for my mom, I'd be right there with you. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you all a question. What do you think of Rwanda?
Woo!
Man, bro. Rwanda is great.
Man, hey.
Love it.
Y'all, we free. Like, freedom. That's what we think about it, honestly. Like, there's nothing else to describe it. It's such a cool environment, cool vibe. The locals, they're very welcoming, man. I like the myth of Africans don't like us and don't want us around. Like, that's a huge myth.
Yeah.
I've talked to locals here, and they say they actually look up to us, y'all. Like someone has told me out of their mouth that you guys are our role models. We look up to y'all what y'all do. So we need y'all to come back and teach us some stuff. They have open arms for us. So it's been a smooth transition. We love it over here, honestly.
Yeah, and a lot of the people, like when you get over here, like I met somebody that looks just like my brother yesterday. I wanted to take a picture of him, but I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable. But when you get over here, these people look just like us. Yeah. A lot of them. Some of them look, more Hamitic than others, but there's a lot of Shem over here. So you feel at home. Feel at home. The weather's really nice. I don't really have anything bad to say about Rwanda. It's the cleanest, safest country in Africa too. So that was another reason why we chose Rwanda over other countries.
Okay, can you explain that, why you chose Rwanda?
So we chose Rwanda because it's the cleanest and the safest country in Africa. It's also the second largest growing economy in the world outside of Asia, East Africa. So East Africa is Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. They make up like the East African nations. They're one of the fastest growing economies in the world. It's also easy to set up a business over here, and it's also easy to get dual citizenship over here. Whereas in some other countries, you will have to renounce your U.S. citizenship in order to get the African citizenship. And even though we left America, we still may need to have that there right now. So
yeah, I mean, be honest with you, before America collapsed, I mean, her passport does have value around the world right now. Ever since COVID though, she's less prominent, right? Since COVID, she can't go everywhere anymore like she used to. So when it comes to Rwanda, well, let me ask you this: how long have you all been there?
We've been here about 3 weeks now. Yeah.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So when it comes to the laws of Rwanda, what do you all know about, the ability to own land, to start a business, things like that? Do you all know anything about that yet?
Yeah. So it's really, you can set up a business here. Then all you have to do is go down to the Rwanda Development Bureau. You can set up your business for $30, and then you go get a business visa, which lasts for 2 to 10 years. So you can stay in the country and do business. And it's really easy. And we were actually looking at Tanzania. That was our first choice, but we decided against Tanzania for those reasons. In Tanzania, you have to have a native sign off on your paperwork to open up a business or to get land. And from what I hear, sometimes people may be subject to getting bribed. Nothing against Tanzanian people, but that's what I've heard from Americans who have repatriated there. So that was another reason why we chose not to do Tanzania. But Rwanda and Tanzania are right next door to each other. You can get from Rwanda to Tanzania in 4 hours. And if you go outside of Kigali, which is the major city in Rwanda, you're pretty much in Tanzania. It's like their borders with each other, and they're kind of like interchangeable, really.
So I was reading an article. I don't know the legitimacy of it, but they pretty much were saying that Rwanda is a little heavy-handed and people aren't happy. What are your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I asked the people there. I was like, man, how do y'all feel about politics over here and how things are going? They was like, bro, we feel good. We trust him. Like he hasn't led us this far. He helped us. Their president has helped them since the genocide and everything get to the next level as a country. So a lot of them have trust in their government. They have faith in what they're doing because they've seen the track record of how he's been helping them. So I wouldn't say that. I haven't seen upset people, honestly. The people I've spoken with seem like, man, they don't get into it. Like, they're like, oh, I mean, he's good. He's doing his job. It's not anything that they discuss. Like, they just trust him and they don't really go against what he has to say. It seems like he's been doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only thing I would say to add to that is that when it comes to like COVID crisis, they are a bit heavy-handed in Kigali. You have to wear a mask and like sanitize before you go into certain stores. But if you go outside of Kigali, it's pretty much like Tanzania. I don't know if the viewers know, but Tanzania pretty much declared COVID crisis was over. So they're just living their lives. They're not wearing masks. They're pretty much back to normal. So if you go outside of Kigali into like rural Rwanda, it's pretty much the same as Tanzania. And I think eventually, Kagame, which is the president of Rwanda, I think he will eventually go the way of the president of Tanzania in that respect to the COVID crisis, and also with the COVID organics that they have, that Madagascar has, that they're pretty much trying to get to the continent. So I think eventually that a lot of African leaders will eventually realize that they don't need the West and that we have our own way to heal our bodies and to recover from COVID and things like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. So how many Mzugus are there, if I pronounce that correctly?
It's not many, and it feels, man, it feels so good.
Yeah, it's
like,
not many of them.
I've seen the whole time we've been in, what, 2 or 3 families?
Yeah, and they all like pretty much stay in the same areas. Yeah. They don't really like, they may go like on tourist stuff, but you don't really see them like out and about really like that.
Yeah. It's not bad over here with that, y'all. You can honestly say that. Not many of them going on.
So you telling me I'm gonna enter Wakanda?
Hey, come on.
So is T3 still driving y'all around?
Man, yes.
Yes, he's doing a great job, baby.
Right.
Yeah, I saw in the video you had him behind the wheel.
Yeah, man, gotta teach him early so he can get to work, right?
he looked like he knew what he was doing.
Man.
Yeah.
So when it comes,
he loves cars. It's one of his favorites.
Yeah. So when it comes to owning land, can we own it or do we have to lease it? Because I know some African countries you can lease land for 99 years or something like that. But I was wondering, can we own land? And if we do own land, do we have to pay property taxes? Because to me, if you have to pay property taxes, you don't own the land. Do you know anything about that yet? Because I know y'all were looking at homes.
Yeah. So yeah, you lease the land for 99 years, but you don't have to pay property taxes. And with the 99-year lease, you just have to come back after 99 years and say, yes, I'm still on this land. So it's not like, in America where if you don't pay your property taxes, they can come get your land, or they have eminent domain where they can just, if they're building a freeway or a mall, they can just come and get your land. So yeah, you still have to lease the land.
So do we have to, if we're there, go through the tribal elders? Because I think, doesn't the tribes own the local land, or how does that work?
We ain't get there yet, honestly. We don't know if we have to go through them. Yeah, though, to get some land, but next interview we'll let you know. Tell y'all, keep us on the list, all right?
Okay, cool. So let me ask you this: what about your family? How did they feel about you all relocating to the continent?
Mixed. I would say mixed feelings. Like, my mom's side, they were happy for me. But I think they were happy because they know me. They know that I'm, I do stuff like that, and I've always talked about Africa. So they probably were like, yeah, kind of expecting it. My dad, he was really sad. He cried. He's like, you're leaving me. But now that he's seen like the videos and like the houses and stuff, he's ready to come now. So, and his family, I'll let you tell him about his family.
Of course, I'm from Memphis, so no one wants to leave Memphis, Tennessee. And a lot of them, I got a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? That wasn't really too fond of my move. They was like, why?
Can y'all hear me? Oh, we got a lag there. When it comes back, I guess. Yeah, we had a lag there. Can't. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Oh
Yeah, we're
yeah,
back.
sorry.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Can you repeat what you were saying?
What was the last thing you guys heard?
I couldn't hear anything because it just really
Oh,
went away.
well, my family, they weren't really too fond of it at first because I was leaving the country. I had an aunt who was really trying to talk me out of it for like the whole two. We made the decision in 3 weeks, and like the whole time before we left, she was trying to talk me out of it. Like the day before I left, she brought up the genocide, and my mom, I really didn't know because I didn't talk to my mom until after I left. So I know she's proud of me now, and I know my dad, he came and saw me off before I left. He was proud of me too. I think it was more so proud from my mom and dad, but my aunts and uncles and everything, it was kind of like a shocker. And they was like, oh, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like mixed.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was just mixed on both sides of our family.
Well, that's to be expected, right?
Yeah.
Because most of I don't know about your family, and you all could tell me, but most of my family, they're not awoke. They're not awake to who we are, so they don't understand the prophecy. They don't understand what's happening really in this world. So they're gonna see it from a different viewpoint than us. Is any of your family awake?
My dad's getting there, but no, they're not. They're Christians. They go to church every Sunday, but they're not in the truth of Hebrew of us being the people. And I actually brought it up to them, and they were like, "No, the Ish people are the true Israelites." So I don't know how they feel now because that was like a couple of years ago that when I first got into the truth that I was trying to talk to them about it, but from what I know, they're still believing that the Ish people are the people.
Yeah, and I spoke to my grandma about it once because she's the one that like really I can remember her like praying for me first, like teaching me how to pray. She was the first woman to teach me about like God and Christ. So I asked her, I was like, Grandma, we the people of the Bible, right? She's like, well, baby, I don't need to be better than nobody. I'm just comfortable where I'm at. And so you know how that go, man. I had to accept that, and no one in my family is woke either. So yeah.
So one thing I notice about our people, both here and on the continent, we have too much humility, in my opinion. Because you can have as much pride in yourself as God says you can have, right? And so it's like when our ancestors were here. Yeah, I mean, if we read the Bible, sometimes they went a bit too far. But at the same time, everybody has a heritage, and everybody, like if you're Irish, you're proud of your Irish heritage. And so, just because we're proud to be Israelites, that don't mean we're uppity or arrogant or anything. What do y'all think about that? Having pride in your heritage, just because we didn't even know who we were for the longest.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people confuse humility with docility. They want you to be docile, meek in the corner, don't say anything, let people walk all over you. That's not being humble. Being humble is humbling yourself to God, following his way and trying to do the best you can. And a lot of people, they just think that, oh, you're saying this, you're puffed up on pride. No, it's just the truth of what it is. And if you do your DNA, it'll confirm that. So I think, if you're speaking the truth, then it shouldn't be, said like, oh, you're being prideful. I think people get that confused a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
So like for me, when people try to say, well, you all should just, be humble and turn the other cheek. I say, well, Jesus turned the table over in the temple. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's be balanced with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also,
they
yeah,
don't
go
really
ahead.
like to talk about that part. I was gonna say they don't really like to talk about that part. They seem to have forgotten because a lot of us have been taught the wrong way, and we want to still
Yep.
believe in that ideology. It's hard to let that go and really grow. We have to have grace in that aspect for people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, they had to keep the slaves in line. So they, they say, turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? Let me beat you up and kill you. And you got to forgive me, blah, blah, blah. That's like, I did that teaching on forgiveness that, the Bible says, if they repent, you forgive them. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going greater than the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, I say, how do you balance things between what the scriptures taught in the Old Testament and the New Testament? Because the Bible says God's the same today, yesterday, and forever. And God had our people go to war. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, there's a balance there. And I think what happens is we got to realize that some of the people who translated the Bible and interpreted the Bible to us wanted to keep us docile, right? So that we can be perpetual slaves like Pope Nicholas V wanted us to be, And so now what we can do. Yeah. Now what we can do, we can read now, right? We can go to God ourselves, and we got tools ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a major part of the problem we've seen is like people are still too connected. Like there's bits and pieces of people still like tied into the system. So it's really hard for them to see the full aspect of the truth. Like some people are still tied into sports, and some people are still tied into like lottery and the bills. They're still letting the bills stress them out. Like when you emotionally invested into it in different ways, you still tied to it. So it's kind of blocking your judgment. It's hard for people to see through it because they're still too tied into it.
Yeah. People like to cherry pick scriptures, like you said, they'll say, "Oh, turn the other cheek," but they forgot where Jesus said, "Go get your swords too," or Yahushua said, "Go get your swords." So, I think people just like to cherry pick things that benefit their narrative, and they don't want the full counsel of God in some cases. So I remember Pastor Darby, he says that all the time. So yeah.
So let me ask you, in Rwanda, is there opportunities for us there?
Yakobo, man. Yakobo, the opportunities are endless. Like it's so much opportunity, I can't believe it. Like I'm upset we waited so long.
Yeah.
It's so much opportunity, man. It's like you can come and start something new. What's old over there will be brand new over here to these people, man. They would really appreciate whatever you bring. It's like tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, and we were speaking to someone the other day, and he was telling us that if you're an American, you can easily come over here and get a job as opposed to even the locals, because like you said, like the U.S. passport, and they look up to Americans and they want us to come here. So, I know before I used to say like you should try to start your business before you come over here, but that may not even be the case necessarily. Yeah. You can come over here and get a job easily because they want to hire Americans to work for them.
Now you making me change my mind on Tanzania then, because I know that Rwanda has a decent IT over there. I'll come over there, get a job, and build a business.
And they don't have a lot of like if you go online and like try to Google a business, a lot of them don't have websites. Yeah. So like if you're into IT or like you're a graphic designer or website builder, man, you can easily come over here and help them out a lot, because even with just doing that, you can just tell them like, oh, I build websites or I do this, and they don't have any of that. They don't know how to do. A lot of them don't know how to do. In the States, like everybody has a website over there. Everybody has business cards. Everybody's social media savvy. May not necessarily be the case on the continent. So
yeah.
So let me ask you.
People
go ahead.
Over here, they see how we use social media. They admire it. Like they understand that aspect of it. So they're asking for help and seeking help in that.
So when it comes to if someone wants to relocate there, what types of visas do they have? Because I know you got the typical travel visas, things like that. But if you want to stay there, you say I'm not going back to the United States. Is there anything particular you have to do to be able to do that?
So they have the business visa, which is for 2 to 10 years, where you can set up a business, and even if you don't necessarily have a business yet, you can still set it up and get a business going. And then I think after you're here for X amount of years, you can apply for a dual citizenship. They also have a visa where if you're part of the African Union, you can get a visa that way. And if you guys don't know, the diaspora is now the 6th region of the African Union, so we fall into that category as well. I'm not sure how long that visa is, but I know a lot of them are renewable. So if you apply for a visa, like if you do the business visa or if you do like the African Union visa, you can renew it so many times until you're able to apply for a dual citizenship.
So when it comes to education for your children, are you homeschooling or how's the school system?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're
definitely going to homeschool.
Now, I don't know, like eventually we may try to put him like in a African school system. I don't know how long this system is going to last, to be honest. I don't know, there may be a whole new system coming about in the next couple of years, but as of right now, we're just deciding to homeschool him unless we see a program that we feel is suitable for him to go to.
So infrastructure wise, I saw that the land and everything, is clean, and that I think the people go out once a month to pick up trash and do all those things. Is that compulsory, or is everyone in agreement to just do that, or is it if you don't do it you get fined? How does that work?
I don't think if you don't do it, you'll get fined. I think people just do it. They know like that's something that they're supposed to do, and they just do it. Because we actually didn't even realize that it was yesterday that the fourth Saturday cleanup was, so we didn't do it, and we were fine. And I saw other people not doing it, but I just think that it's something that they do, that they know that they do, and people go out and do it on their own.
So are you all going to learn Kiswahili?
It's Kenyan Rwanda.
Kenya, Rwanda here. Yeah. So we've learned a couple of words, but yeah, we're definitely planning on learning, because people always come up to me and they speak to me in Kenya and Rwanda because they think I'm a Rwandese, but yeah, so we're definitely planning on learning that for sure.
Yeah, and they respect that. Like even if you stumble on some words, like they love the fact they were actually trying to learn their culture. So that'll be another way for them to feel like, for you to feel welcome, because they give you a certain grin. You fumbled the words, but they'll show you love. Oh, you're trying, brother. I like that. Yeah.
So any final comments for the family that you all would have, about relocating to the continent, how you all see this in terms of, God leading you, or the Most High leading you all to the continent? Can you all just give some comments on that, and then also let people know about your channel and how they can reach you and things like that?
Well, in regards to relocating and leaving the continent, it's been 400 plus years, and we've been fighting the same fight, asking to be seen as people. And we've been following this word and found out the truth a few years ago and who we are and why we're in this situation and where we came from and where they took us from. So why continue to beat the same dead horse over and over and beg someone to see us as a group of people when they've shown, since they brought us over here, that they're going to continue to do what brought us over there. They're going to continue to do what they took us over there to do, just rewrite the laws a certain way and change the rule book a certain way to keep us in perpetual servitude. So we know the truth, we follow in the word, we feel the spirit. Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, peace, joy, and a sound mind. I would say get rid of the fear, because that's not of the Most High.
Yeah. And to add to that, I would say to follow the Holy Spirit, follow the Ruach. He's gonna lead you and guide you into all truth. He's gonna tell you when to go, where to go. If you need to stay a little while longer, don't necessarily follow anybody else. Listen to the Ruach, because he's gonna lead you into all truth. He's gonna guide your footsteps. Since we've gotten over here, we've had so much favor and blessings from the Most High and from the local people. So when the Lord says go, you just have to have faith and go. And that's all I can say is just to have faith, trust in the Most High, because things are going to get bad in Babylon. They're rolling out.
Yeah, it paused if y'all can hear me.
Sorry. So yeah, you're going to have to. Yeah, we're back. You're going to have to make a choice of whether you're going to stay or fight. So in all that, you just have to listen, follow the Spirit, and let Him guide you, because that's going to be the only way that you're going to be saved. There's a scripture that says that 10,000 may fall at your right hand and 10,000 at your left, but you're going to be saved. So even if you can't get out right away, or you don't have your passports and stuff, just trust in the Most High and let Him lead you and guide you through this trying time.
And one thing that I see is that when I look at people who have a problem with it, they have a problem with it because God didn't tell them to leave. Right. And, when other people say, well, I prayed about it, God spoke to me and He gave me freedom and release to leave, then I think other people should sit down and let people live their life according to what God had told them to do. Because we know for a fact what's coming to America, right? We know that there's going to be food shortages. We know there's going to be riots. We know there's going to be a civil war. And I guarantee you, those same people, when there's a lack of food and a lack of water and electricity, they're going to be the first ones looking for their passport to try to leave and go to the continent. And I'm going to be like, well, I thought you was waiting on the Lord. Why are you leaving now? Well, we ain't got no food. We ain't got no water. We ain't got no electricity. Right? Yeah. So I'm like, the Bible, there is such a thing as, they call it the Flea Doctrine. Well, the Bible tells you to flee. Yeah. And I think some of our people are leaving. That's what flee is. They're leaving. And, it's because God told them. So it's like, don't tell somebody that they're doing wrong because they didn't wait for the mass exodus. The mass exodus is at the last part where Babylon about to get her tail handed to her. And then God said, look, y'all, I'm taking all of y'all out of here. And y'all going to be there already having everything set up for everybody. And, being able to help people learn the language, learn the cultures and all this stuff. See?
Yeah. Exactly.
So can y'all tell people about your...
that's what we're planning on doing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to add, that's what we were planning on doing is, getting some land, and, when the stuff gets bad, people will have somewhere to go. People will have somewhere to flee to. Because we know it's coming, we just don't know when. Yeah. And, Jesus, even when, they were persecuting him, he fled. So you can't say, oh, don't flee, because the Most High set an example himself when he fled. So I'll let you plug the channel.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that as well. Like we have an open door. Like if anyone in the truth wants to have a place to stay, even before it gets bad, we've made a decision as a family to be like, okay, well, if someone needs a place to stay for a few weeks to get on their feet, just because they left and want to find somewhere for a minute, we're opening up our home to people to let them not have an excuse to have to be stuck over there. That's like one of the main reasons. We have to open up the door. But our YouTube channel is T3 and Me. It's basically, it started out as the journey of my son and I would giving tips on how to help women and my wife.
Sorry, internet.
But yeah, we started out just doing videos about giving tips to help women and how to support moms during the pregnancy phase and breastfeeding stage. But it's transitioned into our journey over here on the continent. So we're still in the process of making videos and putting different things out, but we're we're trying to find what's best for the audience too. So we're looking for people to give ideas as well. So if you want to look for certain things on the continent, please feel free to let us know what you want to go and see, and we'll go and get that for you guys and put it on camera.
And I also have a channel as well. It's called Ford's Herbal Medicine Diaries. I'm a doula, so I help women birth babies, and I'm also a clinical herbal practitioner. So I have a channel where I talk about herbal remedies, vaccines, and things like that as well.
So is that particular YouTube channel with the health and wellness and everything, you have a link on T3andMe website or
there's one on there. There's a video in the description. There's a link to her YouTube channel as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the link to T3andMe and the Herbal one in this video. And thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm excited about what's happening. I mean, personally, I see it as a God move. And, you know, I'm not, you know me, I'm not going to be fazed by people who disagree with me. You have the right to disagree, but I see it as a God move. And, you know, one thing I'm not going to be is I'm not going to be as a hypocrite, you know, because I guarantee you, if the lights go off, the water goes off, and the food is short, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna let you know right now. So family, please support them. Go to their channel, and you know, we got to support the family and pray for them as well. You know, because God is doing something. I personally see this as part of the Exodus. People don't have to agree with me. Sit back and watch. So thank y'all for coming on. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Chavon. And I'd like to have you all back in the future if you like. And family, let's give them some love. Look up and lift up your head, Israel, for your redemption draweth nigh. Your captivity is ending.